Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one that we've been waiting for. We are the No Bones Podcast, and this is your UFC 300 preview show. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Rich.
So, fellas, it's finally here. After all the controversy and intrigue about this historic event for MMA and sport fans in general all over the world, first of all, are we happy at what Dana and co have served us up? And it's a bit of a redundant question, but are we excited about it?
We can't wait, can we?
Yep, can't wait. And for the most part, yeah, we're happy.
I'm playing it down a little bit there, fellas, but come on, I mean, we've been waiting for this. There's been a lot of talk about it, the lineup changes, the speculation. Is it going to be big title fights? Is it going to be legends coming back? Are we going to see Brock Lesnar? Are we going to see Ronda Rousey? We've got all these things, and it took a while for them to confirm that main event, but there's been one or two moans with MMA community, which I think is a bit stupid, but I think this is an absolute banger of a card, possibly one at best. I mean, we've been looking back at 100 and 200, and, you know, they were good as well, but I think this is one of the best cards. One of the best cards.
Yeah. But,
I mean, it's star after star, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly stacks up. Dana White did his thing and kept us waiting. That seemed to be like forever, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Do you think that were on purpose, or do you think they just weren't sure? They're trying to get Izzy and Duplessis, basically.
I think he was probably trying to do all sorts.
Yeah, I think for a while they were not sure. They didn't know where they're going to go with it, especially with the main card, didn't they?
And I think Ramadan might have fucked his ideas up a little bit as well, because I think he'd have liked Islam Makhachev to be fighting on this, because it's been a while since he's had a fight. And I think with that division how stacked it is as well, and Islam, there's a lot of people waiting to fight Islam, and I think he might have liked Islam on this card, but it wasn't to be. But I mean, the first fight, the main fight on the Pereira Hill, it's an absolute fucking belter, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, yeah.
A bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Hill being on it. I know he's 14 months out, but the injury, Achilles heel, fucking hell.
He's been out a while, but I think he does deserve to come straight back in with a title shot, because he won it fair and square. He got a freak injury playing basketball with other fighters. It's what it was, a
torn Achilles, ruptured Achilles, serious injury, yeah.
Yes, and he did decent thing, John, of relinquishing belt, and he let that division move on. And I agree how he needs to come back at a title fight, and he's pretty confident against Alex Pereira, isn't he? Which people have been confident against Alex Pereira before to the downfall.
He said he's going to knock him out. So
he says I'm levels above. That's what he said. Simple as that. He goes, I'm not hating on him, man. I'm just levels above.
Listen,
I'll certainly not be going for any takedowns, he said.
Yeah, you've got some straight up balls of steel if you say you're going to knock out Alex Pereira anyway. You know, I mean, Powhatan is called Powhatan Hand of Steel for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Stone, not steel. Same thing, pretty hard, but you know. But yeah, that is an intriguing fight. So let's get stuck into it. What do we think about Pereira Hill? How do you think it's going to go? Do you think Hill's going to come back on top of his form? Obviously, we don't know, but judging from what he's done in the past, and people keep underestimating Alex Pereira, don't they? And is that finally over, or do you think people are going to continue to underestimate him?
I don't think they underestimate him for the most part, but I think that for some reason he has few haters still.
He's very popular. He's very popular since he's coming there. And his rise to top at UFC has been, you know, cataclysmic. You know, I mean, he's gone up there and he's won. He's a 2-weight champion. He's beat a lot of former champions, and it's up there. But yeah, he's a strange character, isn't he? It's strange to know how all fans feel about him.
I think he's a fucking absolute breath of fresh air.
I think he's an animal. Yeah, but Jamal Hill, I think he'll be his startest challenge yet.
Yeah.
Granted, he's coming back from injury, so we don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah,
and
he looks hungry though.
Ring rust and all that. He is hungry.
Mm-hmm.
He believes he can beat him. I was listening press conference with Potan, and he's more to kind of he goes, anything can happen in a fight. So he goes, I can be beat, or I can beat him. And that press conference was a little bit stupid. I don't know who let them people in it. Honestly, there were half of idiots with dumbest questions you could ever have. Which hand you gonna knock him out with? Left or the right? Should I bet my house on you? He's like, what the fuck? To be fair, he was very, very content and composed, and answered still with some kind of composure. And I'm thinking, just tell him to fuck off.
To be honest, I listened to a podcast today, with Bisbing's podcast, and he had Jamal Hill on. He was like a rerun from last week or whatever. And he said, if I've got £1,000, Jamal, am I okay to put on you to take him down? he didn't reply, he just burst out laughing. But yeah, he's adamant he's not going to take him down.
He is, and if you look at his stats in his fights and stuff like that, especially one with Teixeira and stuff like that, where he won his champions, he's got he had a lot of strikes, and he's got a lot of records for significant strike landed and stuff like that as Jamali Hill, because we all know that Pereira's a stand-up and bang fighter, and a lot of people assume that the way to beat him might be to take him down. But like you say, Chris, and Andrich, like he's refusing to say that he's going to start wrestling him, and with good reason. I mean, we might forget because Hill's been out for a bit. This guy likes to do the same thing too, and he's not fucking bad at it, is he? You know what I mean?
Look what he did to Johnny Walker last year.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I
know Johnny Walker's a bit chinny, say.
He's a little bit chinny, but you know, Hill's got some devastating
serious
strike,
power. Yeah, serious. I just think what Pereira's done in that such a short space of time, in 2.5-3 years, he's fought 4 previous champions.
Yeah.
He's a 2-weight world champion already in that time.
Yeah.
On top of that, he's a 2-time Glory kickboxing champion, and he got entered into Hall of Fame only a few months ago.
He did.
Yeah.
He's just absolutely demolished everybody he's come into contact with, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So for me, he's the fucking man at the moment in all of UFC. To do that in such a short space of time, he's already in maybe on periphery a GOAT conversation, really. If he, within another year or two, if he moves up to fight Aspinall, I think my man will kick his ass, but you never know. But he's making some serious waves, and I've just been super impressed with him.
Well,
all his demeanour and everything.
He's well on his way to being an Hall of Famer, isn't he? And he's had less than 10 fights. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's why he has a bit of a backlash, because he hasn't fought that many actual fighters. But the people he fought, they were all the best at the game and the best of the times as well. So, you know.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose one of the questions you might level against him that he's come up from middleweight. But since he's come up from middleweight, he's beat Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah.
And then he's beat a returning champion in Yuri Prochazka, who was in a similar situation as Jamali Hill. You know, he won the title at light heavyweight, and then he relinquished it due to injury. And he beat both of them, and particularly in Prochazka, where a lot of people thought he were going to get beat because of Prochazka's mad style and stuff like that. It was a second-round knockout, and he stopped him. In end, he stopped him.
The thing is, until then, he was kind of getting beat until then. It was close, but he was getting beat. He was losing that fight.
If you look at Pereira, though, he's beat Izzy, but then he lost to him. He's beat Yuri Prochazka, he's beat Sean Strickland, and he's beat Jan Blachowicz. So if he's kind of got through them 4 already. And then if he goes on and beats Jamal Hill, so there'll be 5 champions he's beat, and he's had what? He's had how many fights in UFC? He's had about 9-2 in total.
Yeah.
So over half of his fights will have been against former champions, and he's beat them all.
Is there going to be anybody left in like heavyweight division if he beats Jamali Hill, or does he need to go up to a third weight and start knocking on Tom's door? You know what I mean, or John's door?
Well, I generally think he's too small for that. At least at this time, he's too small. They're all giants. In
only
that division.
person.
I'm not saying that he'd go up there and put up a fight, but maybe that's the only way he needs to go.
It's Ankalaev, isn't it? He's the one.
That's a good shout. He's going to be knocking.
Yeah, you know his style as well.
Nobody wants to deal with him.
He's got to get next shot, I guess. He'll probably face winner of these, wouldn't he?
When we watched it when he fought, I think it was in Brazil when he fought Jan Blachowicz. They fought for a vacant belt, didn't they? And it was a draw.
Yeah,
I think that's right. Blachowicz and Ankalaev.
It
would have drawn and like a board draw. You know, it got a shitload of backlash. That I mean, people were fuming with it.
It was a dull fight.
Yeah, but you know, when 2 skillful fighters trying to fight each other and actually win.
It's one for absolute purists, though, that, and especially when they're wrestling.
It can turn boring, but for purists, they'll love it. But because, you know.
Well, it depends what it is, doesn't it? Like if it's 2 wrestlers doing it.
2 absolute beasts going on the ground, you know,
it can be boring, they're sort of filling each other like that. But obviously, on opposite end, like a fight that we're going to get to a little bit later on, 2 stand-up bangers like Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje sort of thing. Them 2 doing their thing can be entertaining as a.
Yeah, you know what I believe?
I want to say motherfucker.
Oh, you can swear now. I've been warned. Sorry, guys.
5 minutes gone, you can swear.
But yeah, I think the main event, Pereira and Hill, I think that it cannot fail to entertain.
Yeah,
for anybody out there to complain about that main card, does that mean we've looked through it a few times? Obviously, doing a bit of research. There's only one fight that was. It's a bit, you know.
Let's touch on that a bit. I mean, because there has been some grumbles and that about through in MMA community, through fans and that, saying that this is it's a decent card, but it could have been even better for an event like 300. But could it really?
I think they were looking for that like extra little bit of icing or cherry on cake, weren't they? You know, like something like like you said, Brock Lesnar's going to come.
Yeah, I think that was the problem because it was so much of a. You know, these rumors going on, or conspiracies, these rumors, whatever you want to call it.
About a legendary
people were
return.
expecting something like explosion, like Star Wars. This is not Star Wars. This is fighting. Lads.
I think it's almost moved on from that as well, in my opinion, from 100 and 200. You know, when you had like Brock Lesnar coming back and all this, and it were kind of they were trying to boost it in a certain way, and I don't think it needs that now. This main card is unbelievable. I mean, 299 were quality, and a lot of people were matching them. Which one's better? 300's a bit of a letdown, this and that, and I think that it's a fucking unbelievable card.
Hey, well, I mean, I think it still will have to, because some to beat 299 were a very good night, and I know
it delivered, didn't it? Surely,
it definitely delivered, and I know we had obviously the usual Conor rumours and stuff like that. There were a lot of people hoping that McGregor might have made it back for this with his fight against Chandler or whatever. Hopefully, that's going to happen later on in the year. It wasn't supposed to be, but I mean, I'm on board, man. I think it's a great card. I think to be having fighters like Figueiredo and Garbrandt and stuff like that opening early prelims, and Bobby Green, who's been doing well, former champions in Jessica Andrade and stuff like that. Fighters in top 15, these are all in early prelims, like Renato Moicano, Jalen Turner. These are ranked fighters in early prelims, you know what I mean? And then I mean,
look at top at Bill at early prelims. You've got Prochka and Rakic.
Exactly, Yuri Prochka, his last two fights, one of them he was champion, next one he was fighting for championship that he relinquished, and now he's in prelims. Right? It's mad. And we all know there's a fight that's on main card. We all know there's a fight on main card that we're going to get onto a little bit later, that we might have a little moan about it to UFC. But little All-American Golden Boy that's got his little spot there that's totally undeserved, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a fight. Is this light heavyweight championship fight, and I think it was the only fight to make in that division, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I really am. It's going to be a good one. We'll get onto some predictions a bit later, but we will knock down now to the co-main event, which is Zhang Weili against Yan Xiaonan, which is always a pleasure to try and pronounce. Although I absolutely nailed it.
I've butchered that a few times.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, but these are the top strawweight fighters. We have got the champion in Zhang Weili fighting against number one in the strawweight contender in Yan Xiaonan. She's earned a place there for a championship fight. Yan Xiaonan, she's been knocking on that door trying to get this chance for a bit. She's beat the last two fights. She's beat some top contenders in Mackenzie Dern,
both of them.
Yeah, former champions, stuff like that. So she's up there. She's only had one performance at night, but it was a good one against the former champion in Andrade. So it's going to be a tight.
Yeah, because Jaylene, she's a fucking animal, isn't she? She's 115 pounds. So let's face it, she's a tiny little thing. Mm-hmm. She has a knockout power. She has a full-on knockout power. She knocked out Joanna with a spinning back fucking hand, with a forehand.
Oh, that was
smacked her straight over the fucking side of her head.
That was
completely
brutal.
Wiped her out.
That was brutal. She beat Joanna twice, didn't she?
Yeah, and then
one of them was that when she absolutely fucked her whole head up, wasn't it? Like she looked like an alien.
Oh yeah, like a big hematoma on her head.
And she's unbelievable on the ground. Her ground game is wrestling is fucking.
I think
unreal.
that fight won the greatest fights in UFC history. That one.
I think
definitely got fighter that year a few years back, but I think that goes in history books as one of greats, especially.
Do they get a bonus for fight of the year as
well?
You
would think so.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? I mean, with stingy purses that they get every fight.
But it's that's just an incredible fight for Chinese, really, isn't it?
Well, they're both of them Chinese, and they're both for fucking title. Come on.
Well, that's it. A big title fight is going to do well for UFC over there anyway. I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason why it's up there. It's up there on merit, you know. I mean, Zhang Weili's an absolute legend.
Well, I think few people had a moan about them being on this card at all, but I think, come on, mate, fucking hell, they fucking deserved it.
Yeah, of course they do. It is gonna be a big old massive championship fight, and one that's not going to be a foregone conclusion, because Yan Xiaonan, as much as she's the underdog, she has got a chance of taking it home. But we will move on to, for me, the fight tonight. I might be giving away a prediction that I was supposed to say a bit later there, but the BMF title on the line for me. Justin the Highlight Gaethje against Max Blessed Holloway. Holloway stepping up to fight Gaethje. This is just going to be an absolute fucking banger, isn't it, boys?
Yeah, Matt, he can't stop smiling when he's speaking about this stuff.
I can't, mate. I get a bit of blood in it every single fucking time, mate.
I'm just keep imagining this fucking I'm the best boxer in UFC, you know,
Oh,
this
mate.
fucking thing, you know, that's Holloway, and I think Gaethje will try to prove him wrong.
That were
And
against
then
Kelvin.
Holloway-
That were against Kelvin Qatar.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Well,
But I think he'll try to prove that, and
It's one of-
Gaethje will try to prove that he's wrong.
if he does it against Gaethje, mate, he's fucking up. But no, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen when Max Holloway did that against Qatar when he's just punching him. He's not looking at him. He's looking at Cormier and that in front. He's going, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC." He's dodging punch and he's fucking landing him at the same time. He made Qatar look all right.
Yeah, it was super impressive.
But I mean,
Some fans are complaining about this.
How?
"Oh,
Come
yeah,
on. How
Max
can you
Holloway's-
complain when someone is that
Max
fucking-
Holloway's stepping up and he's going to get butchered. Gracie, Jesus. It's not a jiu-jitsu tournament. Sorry, Gaethje. He keeps saying that he's too powerful for him, this and that. But if you look at Holloway's record, for one, in the last 10 years, he's only lost to 2 people.
yeah.
Alexander Volkanovski 3 times, but some of them fights were super close. And who's the other one? Dustin Poirier.
Dustin, but that were about 7 years ago or something.
Well, in the
wasn't
last
it?
10 years, he only lost to 2 guys. And I'll tell you what's interesting as well. I think he's got the record for most punches absorbed, but without going down.
Yeah.
So I think
Nobody's ever been dropped, has it?
He's never
No.
been dropped in 28. And look at he's fought,
Rocked about 100
he's fought
times.
Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo. He's fought everyone around that weight
Kelvin
division.
Qatar, Yair Rodriguez,
Yeah.
Volkanovski, Arnold Allen. You know, who's a big fucking
Aldo
puncher,
twice,
you know.
2 or 3, couple of times Aldo. It's
Fuck
like,
me,
what are
man.
you saying? He's in danger of getting hurt.
Listen,
Never been dropped.
Yeah.
listen.
You
I
watch
know
him get flattened.
Justin Gaethje, I think at the moment is in the form of his life, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's just going to wipe out Max Holloway.
No, I don't.
Not
He
similarly,
just
I know
refuses
he's
to
stepping
go
up, but
down.
even in that division, there's no one wiping out Max
And
Holloway.
the
The
other
man
thing
is an
is, I
absolute
think
brawler.
his fuel tank. I think he's a volume puncher to begin with, and we know he can last 5 rounds going toe to toe non-stop without any breaks. We know he can do that. So I think that's his plan. I think he'll just fucking volume him, overwhelm Gaethje. I'll try.
Gaethje's brilliant leg strikes and he's brilliant kicker.
Yeah.
Very powerful. One of the best leg kicks in game. And he's got dynamite in his hands.
Yeah,
It's for sure with Holloway, he's going to be on his toes, isn't he?
Yeah, skill-wise, I'll give it to Holloway all day long.
Yeah,
I think he's
you know
just
what? I
better.
think I probably would, if I were to pick one who were the most all-rounded.
Well, we're still to see Justin Gaethje's legendary wrestling, aren't we? Because the man just
No one's fucking seen it.
The man just refuses to wrestle, even though his credentials say he's probably one of the best wrestlers in UFC. Even when he was fighting Khabib and Charlie Olives and stuff like that, he still didn't bring it out because he just wants to stand and bang and fight with his face because he's batshit crazy. But these man's credentials at BJJ and stuff like that and grappling is massive, but he just refuses to use it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
And
a top wrestler.
it's going to be more the same this time. I don't expect any wrestling whatsoever. I think they're both.
I
just
don't think
gonna
either
stand
going to try.
You know what, as well, there's utmost respect between these two.
Yeah,
They
they love each other.
absolutely love the arms round each other. Huge respect for both guys. You know, the big fans of each other.
Did you hear what
They're both
Max said
super
about
excited. And what were you saying as well?
Well,
These two could have easily stepped aside and waited a few more months and
That's
fought,
it.
Yeah.
That's
fought
it.
the belts in in their divisions.
The big thing for me with these fights is because of what's happened in their retrospective divisions
That's it.
at the moment. Justin Gaethje, for me, is next in line for a fight with Islam Makhachev. I'm not sure many people are arguing with that. And Max Holloway now, obviously, he got beat several times by Volkanovski, but now Ilia Topuria took that belt. Max Holloway is still ranked number 2
for sure, yeah.
in that featherweight division, and he's surely got to be next in line for a fight against Ilia Topuria. But those two guys, I've put that on line to a fight for this BMF, I think, to be on this UFC 300 card because of what an event it is and stuff like that. And they're both risking it. If they lose, they risk somebody overstepping their line of queue for the undisputed title.
Which inevitably will happen, yeah.
Well, that's it. Gaethje's been interim champ before. You know what I mean? I remember when he got strapped to interim belt, he just took it off straight away, and he was just like, "Nah, I'm waiting for the real thing." And he got that real chance against Khabib. He lost. He got it again against Charlie Olives. He lost. He's gonna risk doing this. If you lose to Max Holloway and say, for example, Arman Tsarukyan beats Oliveira, Charles Oliveira. If he beats him, he's probably going to overtake him in queue for a fight with Islam. You know what I mean? So it's a big risk for these two. As much as we enjoy it, let's admit, it is a novelty belt.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like I mentioned it to you before, about this BMF belt.
Yeah.
When it first came about, I think it was 2019.
I think it's been a bit shit because
I first started calling it bullshit belt, but then it's only been fought for. This is only its 3rd time.
Well, that's it. Masvidal won it, didn't he, against Nate Diaz, and then just kept it for ages, and it were never online in any of his fights. But I think it obviously is novelty, and it's not undisputed in that. But I think you can't just win it and then just keep it. You know what I mean? Like George Bradford did. If it's up on line all the time, I think it's got some legs. You know what I mean? It'll never be up there with undisputed belt, but
let's not forget what it represents as well. Like, it kind of grown on me. I don't know. Baddest motherfucker alive. Come on.
It brings us some good fights, doesn't it? If it's going to bring us fights like
It's
Dustin and
fucking cool,
Justin and
isn't it?
Justin
Yeah.
and fucking Max, then I'm all for it. You know,
Warrior, all of them.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
all
like the counter argument to what I was thinking. I'll be honest with you.
Come on.
you know, some point this year, Conor McGregor's going to fight for that
Oh,
fucking belt, don't you? You know what I mean? Dana's going to give him something. He's either going to make up a weight class or he's going to give him BMF.
With
shot.
me
That's
though,
it.
just almost you don't want it to turn into like boxing with all these bullshit belts. And I just thought, you know what? Does it really need this?
Yeah.
I'd have much rather at that moment in time when it came about in 2019. I'd have thought, you know what? Instead of doing that, maybe put another weight class in.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, it would have got more credibility and stuff like that. But
you see, if you
There's
put
more
one more,
flexibility with this, though, isn't there?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a lot
I'm
more
about
you
to
can
say
move.
that,
You can do what you want with it, can't you?
yeah,
If these two retire, because I think Gaethje's 35, and you know what I mean. Then you could maybe put it at light heavyweight.
Yeah.
That's probably a bad example because it's not.
I think UFC likes to dip its toe into antics like WWE every now and again, don't it? You know, with Hasbulla and stuff like that, and it has these pantomime things every now and again, and it brings traction to it. It brings attention and stuff like that. And I think BMF belts sort of kind of like that.
But do you know what?
But as I
It's
say,
delivering on fights, though, isn't it? So,
yeah, that's what I mean. If
Yeah.
it's delivering big ass fights like that, then
But do you know?
I'm all for it.
Do you know what I think? This belt is never moving up the weight. It might move down. It will never move up. Because what it represents is baddest motherfucker alive here.
Yeah, it's them
Which
12,
divisions-
13
yeah,
stone guys that are
so-
the baddest motherfuckers. Aren't
No,
they? That's what-
which divisions are most stacked up?
featherweight, lightweight.
That's
Yeah,
it. I think these
yeah.
two divisions will hold that belt forever.
I think
Well-
that's why it has to be round about there, because there's that many fighters in there.
Yeah.
For that, and for me, the most entertaining ones. I like that sort of weight division. That maybe there needs to be something else for them.
Yeah, I
to
think
thrive for.
Masvidal and Diaz were welterweight though. But no, you're right. What you're saying. If you look at that fucking white weight, Jesus Christ. If you look at that lightweight division,
Yeah.
it's absolutely stacked in it, and some of the
Yeah.
guys in there, they're knocking on, aren't they?
Well, quite a lot of them are.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the we discussed that a while ago, but that's the kind of sad reality that a lot of them we are the fans and
Yeah.
Well, that's
it's
it.
end
That's
of an era. That's what this is really.
Well, it's funny in it because you want to see them. You don't want them to see them leave, but you don't want to see them doing what perhaps Tony Ferguson's doing now and just
You don't
holding
want
on and getting beat fight after
Yeah,
fight
I don't
after
wanna-
fight.
I
You
don't
don't
want
want
to
that,
see-
and you don't want them to see them get brain damage or
No.
do you?
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, there's health things that come in as well as entertainment things, obviously. As well,
I'll be
yeah,
honest
so,
with you,
yeah.
all of them, like Poirier, Gaethje, you name all of them, fucking all of them. I want to see them winning a fight and then retire.
Yeah.
I
Win
don't
none and
want to
go.
see none of them, leaving, on a loss.
But let's delve into this fight. How do we think it's going to go? Do we think it's a 5-round fight because it's pretty much? Does anybody think it's going to go 5 rounds?
I actually think it will.
I think you might. I think
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I already said how I think the strategy of both guys. I think
I think you think either of them's going to gas out before he gets to 5 rounds?
Holloway. No way he's gonna guess out. He's gonna. I think this
You know
is his
what? Don't
strategy.
forget
just-
though. Don't forget. Sorry, Rich. It's he's moving up weight, isn't he? So
He is
Yeah.
moving up, like-
some of it might. I know he's obviously got to cut less weight, but he's carrying more weight. So how will that affect him? He's a big guy, isn't he, Holloway? He
but I
cuts-
think-
He's only ever stepped up weight once before against Dustin Poirier
lost,
several
didn't he?
years ago, and he lost. That's the only time
that
he's ever
was
stepped
a
up.
close
so-
fight, though, if I can remember right.
Yeah, pretty close
Yeah.
fight. But it's I don't think I've got it on here which one it actually finished in. No, I ain't got it on here. Can't get the exact stats for it. But yeah, a close fight. He didn't do himself any miss. Just like you say, he didn't get knocked down or anything.
Yeah.
He stands his.
He got
stands
rocked
his
about
ground,
10
innit?
times in that fight. Like,
But
he
yeah.
kept getting rocked. We wouldn't go down.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, guys. I can see it going full rounds, and they both just stood there absolutely knackered, and then just like swinging them at end
Yeah.
to
I
see
think
how.
Gaethje will try to prove a
It'll be
point.
interesting with Gaethje for me because I've been super impressed, especially last year when he got fight year against Fiziev.
Yeah.
That was incredible. It was in London, wasn't it?
I think he's
that
in
was an
form of his
incredible
life.
performance. That to stand there as well. I think Fiziev's a brilliant striker.
Well, that's it. Everybody
Gaethje
thought-
stood there in pocket for fucking.
But that's
hell,
what he wants to do. He wants to stand in pocket and fight. And
That's how impressive. That's how impressive he's been, though. He's done. He lost to Charlie Olives, obviously, and then he beat Rafael Fiziev, who everybody thought were a 50-50 fight. Then his next fight with Dustin Poirier, who everybody thought Gaethje were probably underdog for that. I don't know official odds on at the time, but he took out Poirier as well, who were on an hot streak after all his wins against McGregor and stuff like that. Poirier didn't lose a lot.
Fundamentally
you know
wiped him out with head kick, didn't it?
But if I remember well, he was losing that fight until then, wasn't he? He was losing that fight until the head kick.
Let me just touch on this. I think it's really interesting, that lightweight division. We've said it a few times over the last few podcasts, last few weeks, or whatever, that it's like a bit of a changing guard. And we've kind of been wrong for the last few times.
Yeah.
If you look at Benoit Saint-Denis and Dustin Poirier, I think those three
there's only Ilya Taporia that's cashed in on that theory at the moment.
It will be interesting. I know we're going to cover it in a while, but Oliveira and Sarukian, it's going to be interesting how that's going to go, because I'm a big fan of Sarukian.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Oliveira.
So that I tell you what, it just solidifies how fucking tough that lightweight division is.
Yeah.
It is. These hungry lions coming up and they're still
insane.
knocking them down.
Yeah.
I mean, for Poirier to do that, it was.
And you know what's best? Poirier
impressive.
really needed this. He fucking needed this.
Well, he didn't need to take that fight, did he? Either.
No, he didn't need to take it at all. It was a dangerous fight for Poirier to take. He took it. He did the business. I know it's come out since that Benoit Saint-Denis had concussion, that staph infection. It was a bit nasty that on his head, didn't it? But this fight, it's not going to do anything for that division, really, is it? It's like a fight. It's like a standalone fight, and Max is stepping up. Gaethje's, he's defending his title there, his BMF title there. It's not really going to have any effect on rankings and that. I don't think Max is going to stay in lightweight division. I think he'll come straight back down to featherweight, like I say, to hopefully get a fight against Ilya Taporia.
I think
which he deserves.
Both of these are going to end up in Hall of Fame, that's for sure.
No doubt about that,
without a shot. So this is a fight you'll probably look back in a few years and think, do you know what I mean?
I love watching both of these guys.
Fans, it's a win-win for fans, isn't it? For us covering it, and for fans, it's just what a fight it is.
It is. I love watching Justin Gaethje, and I truly believe that he's in best form of his life at the minute, and I hope he gets that fight against Islam soon. Yeah. Hopefully it's his next fight.
Is he 35, Gaethje?
Gaethje,
34,
he is 35, he's 35, so there's not much left in him. He's already made noises about finishing
his career, isn't he?
I hope he gets Islam next.
I don't think he will though, because
Poirier will get him.
Poirier is getting next.
You'd think, we've discussed before, we think that Poirier might have been promised a fight with Islam on back of him taking that fight with somebody.
Oliveira one should have really had it, but we all know that that ended.
Like we say, it's just that division's so stacked. It's like if you move your feet for a little minute, then you're missing out.
Yeah, that's what happened to Oliveira. That's it. He's way back down the list.
Remember when Arman Tsarukyan knocked out Beneil Dariush? As soon as he did that, everybody were calling for him to be next guy, even though he'd only put himself up to rankings into top 5 and stuff.
It's how you win as well, isn't it? Obviously, UFC usually best fight best, and as you work your way up the divisions or whatever, you tend to you get what you reward, what you're worth really, and what you deserve.
Yeah, that's what
it is. Also how you win, isn't it? Like with Dustin Poirier, can anybody argue against him getting the title shot next? No chance.
No, it's what you're doing. If you're selling pay-per-views and you're bringing in crowds and stuff like that, and you're winning in spectacular
and you're backing
fashion.
It up, we've said it before, backing it up.
You get them, don't you? Like Conor got them, Sean O'Malley's getting them now and stuff like that, and there's guys like that, and Arman Tsarukyan, when he did that to Beneil, everybody was shouting the same thing there, and that's how it happens, isn't it? And then there's guys like we've talked about before, like Mateusz Gamrot sort of thing, who's consistently just there hovering around, but they're not making that much waves, that seem to get overlooked.
Yeah.
And it seems a bit unfair on them, but I suppose that the ball's in their court for them to change that themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, yeah.
It is, but yes, I think we all agree that is going to be an absolute belter, and we'll get on to some predictions later and see how we think about that. So we have been talking quite a bit about Arman Tsarukyan, the Georgian, 27-year-old Georgian, Armenian, or Russian, whichever country he's fighting out of this week. He's got himself up to number 4 in lightweight division by beating Beneil Dariush. He's, like Chris says, it's how you win, and he came through with a first round knockout against a guy who was ranked for 3 or 4 at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
He's come through, and that's why people are shouting. And he's got himself a fight now against Charles Oliveira, former champion, a guy who's he lost to Islam Makhachev, but this guy is still up there as a top shelf.
He's certainly he's beaten the who's who in that division, Oliveira, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, he's still ranked number 7 in pound for pound. You know what I mean? And he's up there.
Let's not forget, he's still on record as holding the belt for the longest time in lightweight history. Yeah.
Well, I love him. I think it's absolutely shocking.
He's one of your favourite fighters, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely shocking that Arman Tsarukyan goes into this fight as the bookie's favourite. I think
it's for me that blows my mind.
I've took them odds already. About 3 weeks ago, I've already gambled. I've already put him on my back. I've already took Charles Olives. So I like Tsarukyan. I think he's one of these up and comers, but I just don't think he's ready for Charlie Olives yet, man. And the fact that he's underdog in this fight blows my mind. I might be proven wrong. It's definitely happened before, but
last week.
I know, and we before. But I know you're a big fan of Arman Tsarukyan coming through, Chris. What do you think about his chances against Charlie Olives or Charles Oliveira? I keep calling him Charlie Olives.
After listening to what you've just said, I think not much.
Sorry, mate. I don't mean to sway your decisions. You do you. Go for it.
Let's face. Well, yeah, you're going. Sorry, go.
I think it's a super fight to start off with. It's going to be. I mean, Tsarukyan he's a super wrestler. Yeah. He's come on a hell of a lot with his striking. He's super heavy-handed. Charles Oliveira gets cracked quite a bit. He comes from behind quite a lot in his fights, Oliveira.
Yeah.
If you look at most of his fights, I think he's got Oliveira to start with. I think he's got the most submissions and most finishes in lightweight history.
The most bonuses, most subs, most finishes.
His accolades and his performance at nights and you name it.
21 submissions.
He's got records left, right, and centre. But he does get cracked quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that's his thing because he's got such a good chin. I think he waits till he's tired out, just lets him hit him, and then he subs him.
His defence ain't great, but his finishing rate and his finishing qualities, he's up there with anybody probably you've ever seen at UFC.
Yeah,
I mean, from where he come from, Oliveira, he was a really slow starter early on his UFC career.
He's still a slow starter first round. He's finished. He loses first round.
His fights, he lost quite a lot of fights early on in his career, didn't he, Oliveira?
Yeah. Well, his last few, he's going to beat Ferguson in round 3, Chandler round 2, Poirier round 3. Then beat Gaethje in first round. I remember him choking Gaethje out there. That was a good fight. And then obviously lost to Makhachev in second round. Then beat Beryl Dariush himself in round 1. So
spectacular.
One thing I would say is the guy that there's like a common opponent that both these guys have fought is Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong, but I think Tsarukyan, I think that would have split decision, or he lost on points to Makhachev.
Yeah, but
Makhachev, I know it was a while ago. So like we've said before, MMA maths don't always work.
It was same.
Oliveira struggled, I thought, against Makhachev.
Yeah, he did.
He super dominant performance.
Yeah,
he did.
So for me, it's kind of who can implement who's the more dangerous fighter, Oliveira for me. But I just think with youth, and again I might be wrong, I think Tsarukyan's got a really big chance. He looks in super form as well. He's coming off a big knockout. He's in super.
It would have been a performance at night win against Dariush. I mean, his couple of fights before that, and not against massive names, and the one before that where he's lost to Mateusz Gamrot. But much like that fight with Islam Makhachev,
it wrestle heavy, wasn't it?
It was 50-50. You know what I mean? There were a lot of people thought Tsarukyan won that. As much as people thought Gamrot won it as well, I'm not saying he was robbed. You know what I mean? It was a very tight decision. Gamrot got the decision in the end. But yeah, Tsarukyan's only losses have been extremely close. So.
How old is it? So is it? Did you say we're 27?
27.
Yeah, he's very, very young.
So it's a big test for him. This, if he comes through this, I mean, he'll be knocking on door as well.
Oh, definitely. Like I said before, if he comes through this and should Gaethje. Because if he beats Charlie Olives and Gaethje loses against Max Holloway, then Tsarukyan's got to be number one contender for the Islam fight.
Thing is to me,
I'd agree.
I think it's about Oliveira. Yeah? He's not only still hungry for fights and for a win. He's hungry for that belt. He wants that belt back. He wants that rematch with Makhachev. I truly think he wholeheartedly believes he can win.
Oh yeah,
I don't give him much chance.
I do.
I might be a bit naive saying that. Fighter. I just think with that first fight, unless there's something we don't know, within his training camp or weight cut or an injury, I thought it would.
It didn't look right.
Super
it just did not
impressive,
look right.
wasn't he?
It was, but
he just manhandled him. It looked different level.
Yeah. There's still, for me, there's that dodgy little question mark over Islam Makhachev. Don't get me wrong, he's looked amazing, and especially in the second fight against Volkanovski. But obviously, we know Volkanovski stood up. Apart from Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira is the only top contender that Islam Makhachev has fought.
And in my opinion, Oliveira was not ready for it. He didn't show up to the fight.
There might have been caveats to that. Yeah.
And he would just underestimated him. All of it plays out, I think. And he just went against him.
There's still that asterisk against Islam for me because there's so many good fighters in that division that he hasn't fought yet.
Yeah, no, I can't agree with that more. I agree with that.
It's crazy, like Poirier, like Gaethje, like
I want to see him against Poirier because that would be
That's a proper test.
fucking hell. That would be a test.
Yeah, you're right. I think that probably will be his next fight. Like, to be fair, because like we said before, I think there might have been something in the deal
I hope
with
it's next
Poirier.
month.
Benoit Saint-Denis might have got this little promise that he gets a title shot.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise
So
me.
yeah, I just think all in all, it's a super fight. Could go anyway, and we'll get us predictions in later.
Yeah.
we definitely will.
Yeah.
Right now, we move on to
Oh boy.
a controversial little
Go
number.
on then.
As the all-American hero Bo Nickal faces Cody Brundage on the main card in front of many former champions, many entertaining striking
in front
fighters,
of Jiri Prochazka.
in front of the main one that we're annoyed about, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are annoyed about the fact that Jiri Prochazka, his last couple of fights have been, he's won a championship, and then he relinquished it, and then he had another fight, fought championship, and now he's on prelims. And Bo Nickal, 3 fights into his UFC career, getting Dana White privilege all over it, on main card at UFC 300. It's a bit of a joke, innit? Let's not beat about bush. It's a bit of a
I don't know
fucking
what you
joke.
think, but
innit?
I'm proper pissed off about that. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I thought, what?
Listen, I've been impressed with Bo
I thought this
Nickal,
was no. I'm nothing against the guy. Yeah?
but the fact that he's on main card at this
it's
event
mind blowing. Yeah.
against, like I say, against something like Cody Brundage. No offense to Cody Brundage, but it's not like it's a big fight getting him into top 5 at rankings. Or like, it's not even ranked.
Do you know if
It's
if
a bit
you-
like
neither of them are
Sean O'Malley-esque, I think.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
if
bit
you
like-
put them under, do you know if you put them, below Jiri Prochazka, you're not gonna sell any less tickets, are you?
No.
I don't really understand the logic behind it. Why do they do it?
As an Englishman, I think they're just trying to sell him as this all-American hero, this maybe first one since DC, going through this wrestling hero, this college wrestling hero. I mean, they had fucking silly bollocks, what fucking Trump fucking waving, whatever he's called. Can't remember the cunt's name. Sorry for saying that word, but, yeah. But we all know what I'm talking about. You know, they had him for a bit, but I think people are getting bored of him. So I think they're throwing them all behind Bo Nickal, and I think this is just a promotional tour for him, isn't it? Surely, it's got to be.
He's a good fighter, Bo Nickal.
But
I'm just,
nothing against
he's
him,
a
it's
bit
just-
underwhelming. What I would say though is, if you look at all the card, I mean, first fight at night.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be way further up, in my opinion. But UFC have tried doing it a little bit different to how they'd usually do it.
Yeah, there might be
working
something
way
in
up
that
at
argument,
rankings and belts, and like they've tried to mix it up a little bit. I mean, Figueiredo and Garbrandt on first fight at night. It's just
On
like there
early
you go.
prelims,
There
yeah.
you go, sports fan. You know what, early prelims. There you go.
Yeah,
Enjoy
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Then
you have to
the-
think it's part
So
of
the headliner
night
at
rather.
prelims is what, Prochazka Rakic.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I mean? It's fucking unbelievable. They're just they've tried to scatter it a bit, haven't they?
Maybe having like 3 fight nights in one.
Yeah,
instead
I think
of-
that's what it's almost like, and then they've just filled it in.
I hope so.
as and when.
I hope so. And it's not just fucking Bo Nickal getting this preferential treatment, you know.
O'Malley privilege.
I just think he did it to piss us off. He goes, them fucking lads in Wakefield, them 3 lads. Yeah.
You know what? I want to see Bo Nickal. I'd have been more happy if Bo Nickal. He's a talented kid. He's 5-0 He's 5-0 in MMA.
Mm-hmm.
Has he had 2 or 3 fights in UFC?
3.
2 in UFC.
He's been very impressive in UFC.
He has, but his last fight, it was a last-minute replacement against the guy who'd never been in UFC either.
for me,
I
they
think the
couldn't-
Fanny crowd or something
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? They were just
wouldn't
like,
have
yeah,
backed the-
you're pretty big. Come on, have a crack.
Have you wrestled before? No. Oh, get in here then. Yeah, but anyway, for
Can
me,
you
I'd
crack?
have been,
Yeah,
I'd have been a
okay
bit
then.
more excited if I'd have put him in with somebody slightly better than, no disrespect
A ranked opponent.
to Brundage, yeah, but somebody a bit maybe well known, or, you know what I mean, like a bigger name, I would say.
That's it.
But yeah, it's people are pissed off with it. I'm a bit on fence. I understand why they've done it.
Well, yeah, I know they've got. Yeah, fuck them. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll enjoy it, but I'll still disagree that it should be on main card. And don't get me wrong. Again, we all agree Bo Nickal's a great fighter, and he's got a big future in UFC. He certainly has. But
Yeah.
I think it's just a bit of a piss take that is where he is on this particular card. Right, let's move down to the prelims. We have to go through them all this time, guys, don't we? Because it's such a stacked card. And one of our personal favourite fighters here at No Bones MMA podcasting, Jiri Prochazka. He's making his return after he got beat by Alex Pereira in that vacant lightweight, heavyweight, light heavyweight championship bout back end of last year. He's up against Alexander Rakic, who's a good fighter on himself. He's got some good wins on his card. Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, et al. He lost his last time out against Jan Blachowicz, but many fighters have done that and come back from that and had a good career.
Well, it was injury loss, wasn't it? It wasn't like a loss, like he didn't get knocked out.
Yeah, and he had a TKO knee injury is the official line of it. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we all like Prohaska. He's coming back. He's got a great style. Hopefully, he's not a bit too down from losing that fight against Alex Pereira, and he comes back in and he kicks off where he left before his injury, because that's a Yuri Prohaska that everybody wants to see in it, Rich.
Yeah. Oh, fucking one of the most exciting fighters in UFC.
Again with him, like similar to Pereira, he kind of burst on scene, didn't he?
Oh, he got rushed up like
Yeah, he certainly did, yeah.
Well, come on, guy comes in, first fight in UFC, hands fully down, he just dances in front of the guy, just goes bang, bang, first round,
That's
down.
it. Turns out there's a lot of fighters that have got that privilege over Sean O'Malley, isn't it?
Ooh, gee.
Yeah, but
Leave Sugar alone, man.
when did Sean O'Malley knock somebody out in first round?
For loads of times, mate. Loads of times.
No, yeah, on a serious note, Yuri, he's a serious guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Rakic as well, he's no mug.
Yeah. You know what? It's actually very, very good matchup because they I think they same or similar age, but obviously Rakic is had a lot less fights than Prochka, but he's unbelievable. You know, his finishes, he's exciting fighter, so I think it's a good matchup. And they're both good at ground game as well. They don't want to go there, but they are both
They've
decent.
both recently come off injuries, serious injuries. I know Alexander Rakic, he would fight, I think it was Jan Blachowicz, he was doing really well against him, and I think his knee popped.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was dislocation or it was definitely a knee injury. But in that fight, he was doing really well. And
No, do you know what he
Jan
did?
Blachowicz, though, he's a serious player, isn't he? Former champion.
He completely tore the knee. Yeah, completely torn everywhere. They had to rebuild it completely.
Yeah, so after that, I think he was out for a year and a half or maybe even 2 years. And then same with...
Prochka?
Yeah, Prochka, yeah. I was thinking Yuri.
It's broke down.
Is it? Upside down? Yeah, same with Yuri. I think UFC come out saying that it was one of the worst shoulder injuries they've ever seen. I think when we covered that, a few months back, we weren't sure whether it would be a bit too early for him to come back against Pereira.
Yeah.
But again, they were a former champion, so at UFC they gave him opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think despite this fight being on prelims and the annoyance of that and stuff like that, I think whoever goes on to win this fight will definitely be up there with a title shot within the next 2 or 3 fights again.
I think so, yeah.
Especially Yuri.
If he wins this, he'll probably get his rematch with Pereira should he beat Hill. Or if Hill wins, he'll probably Prochka will be his next fight.
It's funny what he's been saying about Yuri, isn't he? He's a bullshit samurai and all this. There's been a bit of back and forth between them, which has been entertaining.
I watched the podcast with Rakic, and he said, he goes, about this. He goes, in a way, he goes, I understand this, samurai thing, maybe it calmed him down a bit, made him a better fighter, probably he goes, made him a better person. But he goes, he doesn't have to fucking shout and, then scream, off the rooftops to everybody and, put these videos and, he goes, that's what's annoying to me. That's what he said, basically.
Yeah. Fake samurai, didn't he?
Yeah, fake samurai.
Samurai, just because he's got that weird thing on his head.
Yeah, do you know what he said? He goes, he said, he goes,
oh, fuck it.
The funniest thing he said, he goes, his coach gave him a samurai book. He read 50 pages and now he thinks he's a samurai.
Well, we'll get on to it again later on, but I know my money's on, so maybe you can borrow it book.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that, just having a little bit of experience and then starting doing it yourself. It's as if a couple of guys watch a bit of Joe Rogan and started their own podcast.
Yeah.
Fuck's that all about?
It's a Tickle world, isn't it?
In it, do you crack on, see what happens, lads. No, but I think he's going to be a great fight as well, man. The back-to-back great fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will predict that in a bit. Speaking of great fights, another one. Funkmeister, Aljamain Sterling, fresh off his total fucking wipeout from the main man, Sugar Sean O'Malley, at the back end of last year.
Oh, that makes you...
Sugar Show again.
Look at him. Oh, my God. Fuck, mate.
You fucking all haters, mate, but once he knocks out...
I'm not a hater.
The next time,
I don't hate him.
I just like Merab better. There's no wrong with that. We've all got his favourites.
Merab's getting knocked out as well, mate. Don't leave you and me. Anyway, Aljo Sterling stepping up a weight. I think, which to me seems like more his natural weight. I think he always, a bit like Alex
Scott-
Pereira when he was fighting at middleweight. I think
Yeah.
Aljo were cutting maybe a little bit too much to get down to that bantamweight. I think he looks more comfortable. In pictures I've seen, obviously we haven't seen him fight there yet, up in this weight class, and he's up against Kelvin Kattar. You know, he's stumbled a bit in his career a bit recently as Kattar. He's had some good wins in past, but he's lost against Arnold Allen, Josh Emmett and Max Holloway in his last 3 of his last 4 fights. I mean, he's still ranked in top 10 is Kelvin Kattar after a bit of a record like that. He's still ranked number 8 in featherweight division, and I was surprised when I saw that. I thought he might have dropped out or been nearly dropping out of top 15, but he's still in there. Sterling is currently still ranked number 2 in bantamweight, still ranked number 15 in pound for pound. This guy's got game. Is disrespected massively by fans of MMA. Is Aljamain Sterling, and I for one hope that in this new division, I hope he makes a bit of noise, man.
I do as well.
I hope he finds it home there, because I
This
think
is certainly a good test for him to step straight in against somebody in top 10 in that division.
yeah, it is.
And Calvin, he's been in with some big guys, aren't they? Big names. So
Yes.
it's certainly a big test for him. It'll be interesting for me because Aljo's he's definitely wrestle heavy, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm not sure, can he bring that down to a lot, can he take that up to a higher weight, against bigger guys?
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how his game evolves, fighting slightly. Because it's not, stand-up's not really his game, is it? He's more of like a grapple type of heavy wrestler.
He is.
So it'll be interesting. Calvin Kattar, I think, we'll go into predictions later.
Yeah.
But again, he's a good boxer. He's not quite as good as Max Holloway, but he's a very good boxer.
Yeah.
So it's
Sure,
super interesting. It'll be interesting to see who can implement their game plan more. The longer it's on feet, I think Calvin will win, personally.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Hell.
I mean, it's a good opportunity for Aljo, in this division for his first time fighting at number 8. He'll take himself into
Yes,
top
it'll
10.
bump
He'll
him
take him
straight up,
through.
won't it?
And then there's some interesting fights there. Some interesting fights in that
I
division.
think he's almost like a bit of a gateway fighter, isn't he?
Yeah,
Calvin.
he's a Jeff Neal Magny.
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
we had him as well.
Yeah.
We've got a few of them.
He seems like that though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, who's he had wins against?
Qatar is
Yeah.
Gigi Chikadze.
Chikadze.
Yeah, but that's the only one I've got. I've just looked at his last 4, and he's lost his other 3 against, like say, Arnold, Emmett, and
So
Holloway.
it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds in that fight. Really,
Yeah, it will. It will.
if Aljo's got aspirations of getting to top end of the division, he's got to be doing a job on him, really, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think he will. Like I said, I think he looks more comfortable that way, and I think he's so underrated. Is Aljo? I know he won his belt in controversial fashion by and getting disqualified by outrageously just smashing him in the head while he were down. It was incredibly.
And that
cheeky.
rematch would have split, wasn't it? That was close.
Rematch for a split, but if you look at Aljo's last 6 fights, he's beat Corey Sandhagen, Pete Young twice, TJ Dillashaw, Henry Cejudo.
Fucking hell, mate.
That's some resume that is up
Yeah, it
there.
certainly is, yeah.
Until he got beat by soon to be pound for pound number 1 Sugar Sean O'Malley.
I don't know what it is with him. He's a New Yorker as well. He's likeable on camera and all that. I just think fans have proper got the bee in the bonnet with him.
It's
I don't know if you look at that record, them names is an incredible resume.
Yeah.
But you can pick holes in bits of them, but then you can do that with nearly every single fight you look
Yeah.
at. John Jones should have lost. So Anderson Silva should have lost before. You know what I mean? It's like, that's close. He should have lost. It's like,
there's not
you
many
can
that
pick holes
cleanly
in
win.
everybody's game, can't you?
There's not many that just wipe everybody out and cleanly win
I
everything.
mean, you're not lucky every time, are you? If you're fighting 4 or 5 killers in that division, you're not lucky every time.
No.
Exactly.
So, super interesting to see how he gets on in this division.
It
Because
is.
he's a big boy, isn't he, for that division? He used to cut quite a lot of weight.
It is, absolutely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to opening fight at night, because it's a big fight. It's a big old fight. It's first one at night. It's first one on early prelims. And like you were mentioning earlier, Chris, we must think that's being done tactically for entertainment purposes, because there's no way Davison Figueiredo stepping up against Cody Garbrandt should be that low on any card on a normal week.
Two former champions, aren't they?
That's it. They know what I mean, yeah. And then you've got, Bo Tickle right up there. You know what I mean?
It's
Ball tickle.
Bo bend you over and tickle. Yeah. Right,
Bo Tickle.
right up on my card. But that's an intriguing fight as well, isn't it? Figueiredo, he's finally fighting somebody else apart from Brandon Moreno. You know, I mean, he's fought him about 3 million times in the last few years, and then I'd one more fight with Rob Font and won that. So now he's stepping up, and he's coming up against Cody Barron, who's having a little bit of a resurrection in his career, isn't he?
Indian summer, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's it. After losses against Rob Font himself and Kai Kara France, who had him out, he's had a couple of decent wins, getting himself back in W column, and that's an intriguing fight as well, isn't it, for Figueiredo stepping up, like.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, it's interesting. Garbrandt, has he won his last 2? Did you say?
He won his last 2, mate.
Yeah, he's Figueiredo as well. I think he's going to retire soon, isn't he? As Moreno took a backward step, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's having a bit of time out moment. It wouldn't surprise me if Figueiredo did same.
For a bit, it was like them to have their own fucking weight class, wasn't it?
Yeah, their own organisation.
They were UFC, and then they were just Figueiredo.
They were great fights, though, weren't they? They were 4 times.
All 27 of them were mint, right? Yeah, it's crazy. No, 4 times, yeah.
What is it? 1 no contest and 30 in each.
No, 2 for Moreno, 1 for Figueiredo, and 1 no contest. You know what I mean? Yeah. It were a nice little, series while it were happening, wasn't it? But we had to move on from that for both fighters' careers and for UFC and stuff like that. It did have to move on, and Figueiredo decided to move on. Obviously, Pantoja's in mix there now and stuff like that, and Mo Makayev's on his way up, hopefully. But Davidson's decided to move on and to step up, and I think it's a good fight. It's a good introductory fight into.
Yeah, I think so.
Into this division for him, innit? To be fair, in bantamweight, he's ranked already at number 8 in bantamweight. Is Figueiredo, you know what I mean? Obviously, we got flyweight where they were winning all his titles and that, but he's
He's
at number 8.
Impressive. We were against Font, did you say?
Against Font, his last one. Yeah.
That was his introduction into that division.
Yeah,
I think it's a good matchup because it's going to be interesting. Garbrandt at one point, he were king at division.
He was this little golden boy kid at one point,
flattening like Dominic Cruz and people like that.
Yeah, all the big names.
He went on a big time slide. I think I've heard he had some personal problems, and by the looks of it, he's got his shit together. Probably a few injuries along the way.
Well, he
seems to be firing all cylinders again, doesn't he? And Figueiredo moving up. He's a bit of a powerhouse, Figueiredo. So it's going to be interesting if he can carry his power up to the division above.
Yeah, how old is he now, Figueiredo?
He is 36.
Yeah, he's knocking on,
36 at minute.
You know what? One thing to just mention. If you look at a lot of these fighters on this card, there's quite a few with old father time with clock ticking, isn't there?
Well, they're names though, aren't they? That's because they wanted all big stars on it, big superstars for big main event. Like, you know what I mean? It takes a few years to make your name, doesn't it? Obviously, there's a few of them that come onto the scene and make the names big time quickly, like Ilia Topuria and stuff like that.
It's probably a nice way for them to sail to the sunset as well, isn't it? Oh, I fought in 300 and then I retired, kind of thing.
Also, they're better known than, aren't they? So when you look at a card like this, Pereira's 36.
That's it.
Gaethje is 35.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of them. Oliveira, there's a few.
Olioma, we're going to cover shortly. She's 42.
Exactly. I cannot believe she's
Figueiredo, 36.
And then you've got
Jim Miller.
You've just spoilt me segue there, mate. Fucking hell. Speaking of veterans, we've got the ultimate veteran in the fight after that. There you go. So move on it as well.
Sugar Sean, isn't
it?
Jim Miller, the man that fought at UFC 100, the man that fought at UFC 200. He is now facing Bobby Green at UFC 300. Bobby Green, who was on a hit streak, lost his last fight, got wiped out pretty cleanly, but Jim Miller's still in there. He had to be on this fight, didn't he? While he's still active, he had to be on this card.
Fans were calling for it. I think they did like some polls, didn't they? Oh, do you want on straight away? Fuck all these champions. We want Jim Miller on.
That's it. It's a nice touch, isn't it, to give him that.
Can you imagine as well that even if he retires now after this fight, what have you done, Grandad? Well, I fought 100, 200 and 300 UFC.
It's absolutely legendary.
Unbelievable. Is that?
Jim Miller's got record for most fights in UFC as well.
Yeah.
Saying that, watch him get fucking injured.
Watch his hip go.
That's it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what was funny as well.
I had to pull out with gout.
Somebody asked Michael Bisping how many Jim Millers, because they linked Jim Miller, didn't they? And what's his name? Former heavyweight, who everyone wanted on.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, Jesus. Yeah, they wanted, somebody asked him, how many Jim Millers do you think it'd take to beat Brock Lesnar? So Jim Miller said, I'd do it on my own.
If Brock Lesnar were a paraplegic.
But he says, honestly, he says, once I get that Kimura on, he says, nobody's getting out of it, don't care how big you are. So he says, if you pay me right, I'll fight Brock Lesnar.
Fucking hell, I saw a story recently of Brock Lesnar's daughter who looks exactly like Brock Lesnar, by the way,
boy.
who just brought shot put record for her high school. She'd take out Jim Miller, mate, I'm telling you. She looks mean as fuck, man, honest to God.
Oh, no. You know what? All jokes apart, Jim Miller.
No, that's
40 years
What a
old,
legend,
UFC 100, 200, 300, record wins, record appearances. Oh, you know, what an incredible career he's had.
Yep.
And you know what? He won on 100 on UFC 100. He won on 200. And I'd put my money on him winning on 300. But the fight itself,
Green,
I know you're more of a fan of Green, aren't you?
Well, it's not so much a fan because he's always had his ceiling as Bobby Green, hasn't he? But I liked his run that he went on recently.
Yeah.
Before he nearly got comatose by Jalen Turner. Referee give him, I don't know what he was doing, referee.
Fuck no.
Oh, yeah. That was
Having a split in
You know, when he turned over, didn't he? And it was like, you know what, he's not defending himself.
Yeah.
You know what, I think they're from the same city, I think them two all, they used to be training partners.
Yeah.
But when somebody turns a battle like that, and you might let him get an extra 1 or 2, but I think he must have had about an extra 10. So it were brutal, that. And
it was brutal, yeah. He should have called it a lot earlier than he did, didn't he? And I was enjoying Bobby Green up until then. He was having a nice little run, but who knows how he's going to come back from something like that.
I think he's 36, 37 though, I think Bobby Green.
He's knocking on.
But it'll be an interesting fight for me because
fan base is massive though as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's quite a popular
because most of them think he's fucking Kanye West.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh, he's definitely a better singer than he's fighter.
Yeah.
But anyway, the fight itself, I think that's interesting because I think standing up, you'd slightly lean towards Bobby Green, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He's a bigger guy as well. He's taller, better range. Probably he's definitely got edge in striking. But I think on ground, I think Jim Miller.
Experience.
Yeah, experience, been there, done that. And if he can submit Brock Lesnar, surely to God he can submit. You know what I mean? He's going to get better than Green, isn't he?
That's it. And speaking of Jalen Turner, he's also fighting tonight, that night that we're talking about. He's up against Renato Moicano, a guy who's making waves and making noise about what he's going to do in this division.
Yeah.
He's picked up the ears of a particular scouser who's been calling him out for next fight, and they're both a bit like each other, I think, aren't they? I mean, both.
Let's hope it happens. To be honest, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, soon Paddy's got to have a fight soon to try and get himself in that top 15, and he's about there as it is. But is Moicano going to get past Turner? That'll be a good fight as well. To be fair, won't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. Turner, he's a big boy for that division.
He's very big for that division.
6'2". He's very rangy, good striker. He come against Gamrot. He come up short. I think he's had a couple of split decision losses, like really close fights.
Yeah, he had a couple in a row, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then obviously came back against Bobby Green and had that big win there, and that's boosted his confidence, let's say. And it's a good fight now against Moicano, to be fair.
Both youngish guys, aren't they? So it'll be interesting to see who moves on. Maybe whenever them get their ass over to Manchester in a few months.
That's it, yeah.
Paddy's going to need an opponent.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
I think that'll be his next fight in summer on English card, whether it be Manchester, hopefully for us, or London or whatever. I think it could be either of them, really, couldn't it? I suppose if Jalen Turner wins, he'll probably be looking up rather than down, won't he? But it's intriguing again. And then we've got former champion Jessica Andrade making another go up against Rodriguez. I mean,
you're never sure which one's going to turn up with Jessica.
Fucking hell,
you're never sure how. You know what? Sometimes she looks shit, and another time she looks. I don't know if it's with weight cut or up and down divisions or former champion. And a few.
That's it. Yeah, it looks like she's sort of winding down for a bit, and then she comes out with a good performance, and then she's. Does she want another shot at a title? She's a former champion herself, obviously. Does she want to get up there and have another shot at that title?
Where is she going with this? Yeah.
Or does she just need a bit of cash? Who knows? Who knows? It could be whatever, but that's going to be an intriguing fight. And then we've also got the young star coming up in Diego Lopez up against Yusuf. That's going to be an interesting fight as well to see if he can carry on his march up that division himself. He's an exciting fight that everybody's talking about and getting into.
Yeah,
he's definitely favourite in this fight, isn't he?
His debut, he's kind of, last 18 months, he's kind of come out of nowhere, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he stepped up on short notice against Evelev, is it? Evelev?
Yeah,
Mosvar Evelev.
Yeah, Mosvar Evelev. Yeah, I think he lost a split decision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, after that, I think he's had 2 impressive wins after that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, he's got some promise.
He's another one of these new breeds, isn't he? Like Tarukian and
Warrior,
and that is one of these that we're hoping come through and take the place of these guys that we've been talking about that we're retiring.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was that New York card. You know, when Aspinall, I think it was New York card the last time he fought.
That we were
It was absolutely bouncing, wasn't it? And he come out and with his bloody mullet and all that, and he was just entertaining, wasn't he? Everything, straight away we were glued to the screen watching it. Just, everything about him was good.
Yeah.
Needs to work on his English a little bit, but then again, so do me and Rich. So, but yeah,
how's your Spanish, man?
Very good, man.
Very good. Typical English, man.
Yeah.
But that's it. Yeah, and then final fight that we haven't covered, we've got Kayla Harrison making her debut in UFC up against another classic veteran in Holly Holm, the one that dethroned Ronda Rousey, the one that's a better name for her. Did you say she's 42 years old now?
Do you think she should throw in a towel by now? Fucking hell, mate.
I'll let you tell her that, mate.
Them head kicks.
No, Holly Holm, she's boxing. She's had a brilliant career. Harrison, she was linked with UFC for a good few years. She should have fought, or she was linked to sign with UFC and fight straight with Amanda Nunes.
Yeah. What do you say? She's 2 times champion.
Yeah, judo, Olympic gold medalist.
Olympic gold medalist. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
She's a serious player. I'll tell you what's interesting with her as well. She's a massive girl.
Yeah.
People's been slating her saying she's on roids and whatever else, but you know what? She's a big girl and she's got to cut a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she's fought at that weight class either before, so that'll be interesting.
I'll admit I don't know much about Kayla Harrison myself, but let's say I know I've done a bit of research on her. I know she's been sailing through and got all these accolades and stuff like that, and Holly Holm's got what she's got, but
Holly Holm, former champion. I think if it stays on feet, without a doubt, Holly Holm would probably destroy her. But
if she's got it left, hopefully she has.
Another interesting matchup.
You know what? Yeah, especially with women, you can see that age where plays a card to your favor. When you are at certain age and you've fought so many times, you calmer. You don't get emotional. Even if you're losing, you're winning. Never mind. You don't jump into bad situations. You just don't let yourself get in there.
Yeah.
You're more patient, and when you're younger, you're completely opposite, aren't you?
Yeah.
And like you say, if it's on the ground, though? Most of the time,
as
isn't
they
it?
get older, male, female, or
I think it's more with females, because females are more emotional in nature, isn't it? So when they're young, they get too emotional, aren't they? Well, you can see that all the time. But with men, is same, isn't it? Same with men.
Yeah.
Look at these old timers now. A lot of times when you think they should jump in, they'll pull out, they'll think, I'll wait. And then they'll come back in. 5 years prior, they would have jumped in and maybe even lost,
Yeah, you
see it, don't you?
It happens in a lot of sports, though, doesn't it? When you're young and you're coming through, you just take risk after risk after risk, don't you? You've got no fear and stuff like that. But then once you become a bit more mature and a bit more,
and when you get emotional, you get reckless, don't you? That's the biggest problem.
And stuff like that, and you tend to overthink things and things like that. And you think, I can only take so many hits or whatever. I can only take,
There's a fight fan and a sport fan, though. That's what you love to see more than anything, don't you? You know, like a young guy or a young girl coming up in a sport and just ripping it up, not respecting no one.
Yeah, there's no better in any sport. Like I said, we've followed football for many years, and when you get a young footballer, a young fast winger or something that comes through that starts doing all skills and taking everybody, it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to see,
That's what you want to see, and you always want these new up-and-comers coming through and taking over from old guard. As much as you love old guard and as much you've got respect for them, and you've watched them all their careers, and they've got to a certain point that and you've been cheering on for years, and you feel that affiliation. It's still nice to see someone coming through in it and taking over a mantle, and that's
why we love sport, and don't we? Why we love this fight game.
Well, it's critical to sport for it to keep going, isn't it? And I'm glad we've got a few coming through at the moment and starting to make waves, and they're not all getting better of them just yet.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be long, I don't think. And hopefully we're all just a little bit paranoid that all these top stars are going to go out and then it's going to drop in the quality of the fighters, and hopefully these next generation are going to step up. We keep talking about how the fight game's evolving and MMA, it's a new sport and stuff like that, and people are just going to get better and better and better. Let's hope that that's how it plays out, man. And it's starting to look like it a bit, and
it does look promising. For a bit it was a bit of a touch and go, wasn't it? I was like a bit, where is this going? All these, veterans soon to retire and up and comers, and there were nowhere really on the horizon that was really out there. But
we've got a few now. So we can name Tapori, we can name Saruki, we can tell Raul Rojas Jr., we can name Will Lopez. There's quite a few. Bo Nickal, Tickle, whatever. You know what I mean? Ben Marcendany. There's a few coming through. I think it's in safe hands for a bit. Yeah, I think it's in safe hands for a bit. I'm still yet to make my debut, so
yeah.
see how it goes. A couple of months younger than Ollie Holm. That's it.
What are you doing? Giving Sean a massage
in his corner with a t-shirt on, just going yay. Fuck you. Anyway,
Marvin in the background.
You're just all jealous because I spotted that future champion before you all did. That's all that's up.
You only supported him about a fortnight.
Exactly.
I told you, boys.
Only since he got pink Lamborghini. Anyway, so that concludes us talking about that absolute amazing night of fights. Potentially one of the best. Hopefully one of the best. I believe it's going to deliver on several fronts. Obviously not every single fight's going to deliver. There might be a few disappointments in there, but hopefully there's a few surprises. Hopefully there's a few dominations. Hopefully there's a hell of a lot of knockouts and stuff like that. And we'll have a little go down list now, and we'll do a few predictions and see what we think. Do you want to start from bottom at card and go up to top, guys, or other way around? Let's start at bottom. Let's go in order that it's going to go on tonight, yeah? So we'll start with Davison Figueiredo up against Cody Garbrandt, opening up UFC 300 in Las Vegas. Crazy that it's the first fight of the night, but we just have to believe that there's a reason for that other than blind foolishness. And we'll have a talk about who wants to start. Who wants to predict the result of Figueiredo and Garbrandt?
I'll say Figueiredo.
Yeah, I'm going for Garbrandt.
Okay.
Go for Garbrandt. I fancy Davison Figueiredo in that one to go through. I think he's going to knock him out. I do. I think also he's going to take him out before time. I think he's going to be too good for him. Bobby Green, Jim Miller.
Miller, because I just want him to do that. 1, 2, 3, come on.
He's the one out of all card I want to win the most.
Yeah, 100, 200 and 300. I just want him to have that in his record.
If you disagree, I'll...
Art says Miller, head says Green, mate. Art says Miller, head says Green. Head says Green. But I'll be cheering him on the night. We'll Jim Miller. Jessica Andrade against Rodriguez.
I'll go on Andrade. If she shows up.
Yeah, I've got same as well, Andrade, if she shows up.
Yeah, me too, Andrade. Jalen Turner. Renato Moicano.
Renato Moicano.
You got Moicano?
Yeah, I've gone Turner. Actually, I think he's looked good last few fights.
Yeah, I've gone Jalen Turner, and
he's fought a better opponent. I think he's fought a better level.
I think it's one of the closer fights of all, right? But I've put my little asterisks against Jalen Turner. I am going to go through that. Rich, Yusuf Lopez.
Lopez, absolutely 100% Lopez.
Me too.
Yeah, I've gone Lopez as well. I think he's
honestly, I would put my money on that.
He's a breath of fresh air, isn't he?
Yeah, I like him. Holly Holm, Kayla Harrison, Chris.
I've actually gone for Harrison.
Yeah,
I think she's about 10 or 12. I'm guessing numbers here, but she's definitely a lot younger, and she's a proper athlete, and it's a UFC debut.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Harrison will get it.
Rich.
I think same. Although, like I said, I think Holmes, she's smarter fighter without shadow of doubt, and she won't let the emotions get to her. But the mileage will do the damage.
There's a lot of mileage on there. In that case, I'm going to go for Holly Holm. I'm going to go for one last dance for Holly Holm. I'm going to get her
to knock her out, then retire, maybe.
To put them gloves down at the end of it at UFC 300. It'd be
Ideally,
a fitting time to do.
You want, don't you?
Yeah. No, I want Holly Holm to win, but I've got a funny feeling that she might come unstuck.
Yeah, no, I believe she might do as well, but yeah, let's go for it to have one last dance, maybe put her gloves in the middle out to get an end of it. Kayla Harrison a bit unknown in UFC, so you never know, but we'll see how that goes. Aljamain Sterling stepping up to fight Calvin Kattar. What do you reckon?
I think Qatar, mate.
He's
I've got a funny feeling he's good. Sterling might struggle to take him down with size.
Yeah.
And I think on feet there's no comparison.
Yeah.
I think Sterling's
Sterling-
takedowns are lightning.
Yeah.
I just think that eventually he'll get it. And once he gets it, tables will turn.
I've seen a few training videos of Aljo recently, and the guy looks fucking stacked. He looks ripped. He looks ready. Who knows? Like you say, it's unknown for him. He's up there, but I think Aljo's got what it takes to take down Calvin Kattar. Yeah. Right, now let's go to the fight that should be on main card that's not because of Mr. Tickle. Yuri
I've
Prochazka.
written down Bo Wrestle here.
Bo Wrestle. Listen, everybody knows who you're on about, don't you?
Yeah.
Bo Wrestle against Cody Brundage, Cody Bandage or whatever we want to go. If we're going for it, let's go for it.
I hope you interview one of these fighters one day.
Yeah, one day. Yeah. You remember that podcast? I watched that podcast.
You need Sugar Show with you then, mate. And he's
It's not likely, but I appreciate your confidence.
Yeah, so Prochazka versus...
Prochazka Rakic. I think I know where we're all going to go.
I think it's going to be closer than
I
people
was
think.
about to say that. I think it's like 60-40 is that close.
Yeah,
maybe even 50-50.
I'd say that. I'd say it's a very close fight.
I agree, it's a close fight. But I'm in Yuri's corner all the way.
He's just a fan favourite, Yuri, isn't he?
Yeah,
Everything about him, he's just...
I like Rakic as well. He's like down to earth. He's a nice guy. He's not an asshole at all. He's not like, I don't know. He's just a nice bloke, and I kind of want him to win as well. But Prochazka is just my favorite.
He's just fun to watch, isn't he, Prochazka? He's different.
Yeah, he's different. He's a breath of fresh air, isn't he? Hands down, don't give a fuck.
You don't know where next move coming from, whether it's going to be a fucking overhand or
and his honesty as well. You know, when he got stopped, didn't he?
He's done it twice, hasn't he? Yeah. Against Pereira and against Reyes, wasn't it? Against Reyes as well.
Oh, he said he were out, didn't he, against Reyes?
Yeah,
he got up kicked, didn't he? He went down for a split second and he did
come back around somehow.
He won,
Well, a lot of people didn't think he were out against Pereira.
Plus, he had Mark Goddard's back, didn't he?
Ref, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Goddard, he's one of the best refs in UFC.
Yeah, he said no, it was right call, didn't he?
I like that because there's so many fighters.
Well, when we were watching it, our initial reaction was that it was stopped early, wasn't it? But then Prochazka come out and says no, it was right, and then you've got to take it after.
How many fighters would you have said, oh yeah, I could have gone on, or it really stopped it? You know, it was a way out, and he's not
almost every other one.
So yeah. Massive fan of Yuri for that.
To be honest, I didn't think it got stopped early. I remember you two said
everyone
it was too early. And
Joe
I said
Rogan,
it wasn't.
Everybody said that. Yeah.
Because when I saw him going down on his knees, I saw him being completely
out.
Limp. He was completely out.
For a split second.
Yeah, he come back around a bit, but he started taking a lot of punches, and I thought, you know what, just stop it because it's only going one way.
Yeah.
So what's the point then? Just fucking stop it. And
but it's for belt, innit, as well. So you kind of, when it's for a belt, you want it to see you go a bit further.
Yeah, of course you want it.
It's high stakes, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to give it absolutely everything, don't you, when there's that sort of stakes. So all three of us also think Bo Nickal's going to win. So let's move over to Charles Oliveira against Arman Sarukian in what could possibly be a title eliminator. The next one.
Did you say we know he's going to win then?
I'm annoyed, UFC. I'm annoyed that he's on this fucking main card.
Everyone is, mate.
I'm annoyed. I know you're not listening, but I'm annoyed. Sort yourselves out, man. Bastards. Anyway, Charles Oliveira against Arman Sarukian. Possible title eliminator. Next man maybe getting a shot against Islam Makhachev when he decides to come back sometime in summer. You take a minute, Rich. You tell me what you think, Chris. What do you think?
I'm just imagining this picture for me. Dana waking up tomorrow morning. Somebody comes up to me and they go, "Have you seen this fucking picture?" He's like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Cool t-shirt though.
He doesn't even know who Man United is.
He fucking hates football, doesn't he? I've heard him say it before. Never mind.
Yeah, so go on.
Yeah, anyway, on to that prediction.
Which one?
I think that's one of the closest fights on card, I would say.
Oliveira Sarukian.
I really would. I think that is super close one to pick. I'm just going to stick with young lad again, and I've been wrong for the last couple of occasions. But I think Sarukian's going to catch him.
It's possible.
Yeah, that's what I think. He's going to catch him, and I think he's going to finish him.
I think he's up for it, and he is fired up with Sarukian. He knows that this is his moment. This is going to be his chance.
There's been a big backlash with Sarukian as well. You know, on these. One thing I've really not agreed with over the last month or so. You know, on some of these presses and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know if it was somewhere, well, obviously it was somewhere in America, but they were asking Sarukian questions, and not some fucking questions they were asking him, you know, they're just like handed mic round, I think. They were saying, oh yeah, you're going to get smashed, and they were so disrespectful.
Really?
You know, because of how many fans, he's one of the biggest stars in the game, isn't he? Oliveira. So all fans were turning against him, and I hated that.
Yeah.
I just think it's so, you know what I mean? You can't have like a few thousand people there, obviously.
It's not his fault,
for passing
is it?
mic round, slamming a foot, you know what I mean? Saying he's going to get his ass kicked. Honestly, I think
Bit disrespectful,
we're out of order, that.
Well, they were kind of doing that with the pot, and we were talking about the hill. Which hand you gonna knock him out, left or right? Should have bet my house on you. Like, what the fuck, mate? Really?
I don't like
Who
it.
the fuck gave you a microphone, you dickhead?
Yeah, it was super out of order, that. Also, Sarukian's come out and actually said that Oliveira's good at one thing, and that's taking somebody's back and submitting them.
No, yeah, so there's no doubt that that's his move, man. That's his
so
goal.
it's an interesting fight, and I hope.
So on back of that, my prediction is Charles Oliveira's going to take Arman Sarukian's back, and he's going to fucking submit him.
If I were putting money on it, that's what I'll put my money on. But I'm not.
I've got even better prediction. I reckon he's gonna rock Saruki, then take his back and submit him.
Rock him with punches, and then just like
rock him with a nice fucking right hand and go
then
bam, and then flip him round. And he did that a few times. He did that to few fighters. Yeah.
So I'm going for Arman anyway. You two guys going for Oliveira.
Good luck, mate.
I think Charlie Olive's still got it in him, mate. Yeah, I don't think he's quite done yet.
He's hungry enough.
I'm not sure he'll ever get his title back, but I don't think he's done it. I don't think he's quite done yet. I think he's got a few more fights.
Incredible career though, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right, on to the first title fight of the evening. The BMF, Justin Gaethje. The people's main event, Justin Gaethje against Max Holloway. Two incredible fighters, two incredible guys, come across really well, very likeable, both incredible boxers, both will just stand there and swing and just knock 10 bells of the living shit out of each other until that fucking hooter goes. And I think it's very much what we're going to get on tonight, is them two just going hell for leather at each other's fucking bonds.
Fucking wait.
And just going for it.
I
can't wait for this fight.
If it's anything other than what you've just said right there, I'd be absolutely
no one is going to the ground. No one is wrestling at all. Zero of that.
That's the fight for me. The fight of the night for me. Hopefully it plays out how it thinks. I mean, I'm not going to be alone in saying that. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking of niche by saying that's going to be a fight at night. I think everybody thinks that's going to be a fight at night. Yeah. It's bad motherfucker belt for a reason, because the two bad motherfuckers in that octagon just battling
two
it out.
future Hall of Famers as well.
Yeah.
Future Hall of Famers. Still could be both two fucking champions, two, you know, undisputed champions. I think they'll both get another shot at belt in their careers. How will this play out?
If I were Max, I'd get on his toes and I'd keep away from Gaethje's power. And I predict actually that Max will win on points.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah,
I think Gaethje will
really
get
fancy. I don't know what it is. I've just got a feeling Max is going to do it.
Max has got no quit, has he? He's got no quit whatsoever.
He's never been knocked down as well. Don't forget.
I know, but I think this time he might. I think Gaethje might get his way.
If you look at his resume, that's pretty incredible to say he's never been on his ass.
Oh, you know, some people
he's fought McGregor, he's fought Aldo, he's fought Volk, his resume is unbelievable.
It is,
and he's never been knocked out.
I just think Gaethje might get his ways.
Yeah, I think run of form at the moment that Gaethje's on, if he continues in form that he has done in his last couple of fights, I think he might have too much for Max, but I'm not ruling Max Holloway out whatsoever to take this fight, be it knocking out Justin Gaethje or outpointing him and it going distance.
It's 5 rounds as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. That is going to be one to watch.
You think that'd kind of suit Max as well, in my mind.
No, I think that suits him.
You know,
5 rounds
the longer drawn out
100%
against a more powerful guy. You'd think.
Yeah, I mean, where Gaethje fights, you can definitely see him gassing before Max, for sure.
I said it before. I think Max's strategy just outpacing and just
volume
take it all the way distance. Yeah, volume punching, take him the distance.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be hard to stay out of Gaethje's range for 25 minutes, isn't it?
It is.
You know, to avoid them power shots and power leg kicks.
Yeah, Gaethje's good with those.
I think them power shots are just his boxing altogether. It might only be second to Max.
Would you agree that it's closer than people are making out then? Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you know what? He's
definitely
way too much power."
No, this is way too. This fight is way too close.
Than people think.
Definitely, I'll give my prediction now. I do think Gaethje will have too much for him. I think he will just take it. But yeah, it's definitely closer than what some people are making out. Yeah, some people are thinking it's a big step up for Max and stuff like that, and you know they're just doing it to sell tickets and things like that. But no, man, Max will fancy himself. He'll think he can go into that octagon and win that fight.
Super confident, won't he? Cutting less weight as well. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What did you two say who you think we're going to win that fight?
I think Max on points.
I say Justin.
Yeah. I think just Gaethje. From them starts, it's hard to see him knocking him out. But I'm going to fuck it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go Gaethje to knock him out.
Yeah, I go for the
Gaethje to
same.
knock him out. Round 4-ish, something like that. Zhang Wei Li and Yan Xiaonan.
You got a minute in that round as well.
4th.
You've got to put a couple of quid on that now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Watch it come in.
If it happens, I'll be fuming. If not, why not? Right, so on to co-main event. Zhang Wei Li against Yan Xiaonan. Strawweight title decider. Who do we think's going to win that one, boys? Let's get us. I'm going to put myself down on Zhang Wei Li. I think she'll retain it and continue her defenses run in that division. What do you reckon?
I pretty much agree with what you've just said, Matt.
Yeah, it's unanimous. I think so as
I think
well.
she's
too much for
Yeah,
Shan.
she's a little pocket rocky, and
Yeah.
she's a bit more all-rounded than her.
Yeah,
Great fight for China, though, so...
Yeah. Right, main event. Big ones. Big boys. Big lads.
Jamal Hill.
The forever underrated Alex Potan Pereira against Jamal Hill coming back from his injury. Been a long time out, but he's got them bombs. He's got them bombs in his left and right hands, just as Alex Pereira has. He's probably naturally a bit bigger than him. Is he going to have a chance, Rich? What do you reckon? Do you think he's got a chance of taking him, or is Pereira just going to continue to keep proving everybody wrong? Or, well, I suppose there's not many people.
It's just his ground game, really, that people... Oh, yeah, what's he going to be like when he comes up against a wrestler? But
there ain't going to be no wrestling in this.
No wrestling in this. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, I'll be fans and favorite very much so, and I'll go for Hill. I actually do think he's going to take it.
Jamal Hill?
Yeah, I think he will.
For Jamal Hill.
by knockout, yeah? Or do you think
Bisping's
going to win his 1,000 pound bet? He's going to take him down.
Listen, if you look at fucking... Izzy knocked out Alex Pereira, didn't he? You know what I mean?
Oh,
And Jamal Hill's a bigger lad than Izzy. You know
he's
what I mean?
beatable.
He can be knocked out. It's just who lands first, I guess. And if Pereira lands one of them fucking left hooks, you're fucked. Whoever you are, you're just fucked. I don't care if you're Brock Lesnar or his daughter, man. You're fucked. That's it. But you know what I mean? But
Brock Lesnar's daughter would fucking destroy him.
so's Brock. But that's it. But again, Jamal Hill, he's with volume of punches that he throws and stuff like that as well. If he lands first, he can put down Pereira, no doubt. So I don't think he will.
Yeah, and the tank as well. Jamal Hill has a tank.
That's
what's unbelievable. Yeah. The size of him, and he has a good tank. He can last 5 rounds, no problem.
I think Pereira will win, and I'll tell you why. I think he's a better striker. Hill's saying he's not going to take him down. So all that does is play into Pereira's game. Pereira's one of the best strikers UFC's ever seen. There's no doubt about that. He's basically ripped the fucking paper up on it as he's got into UFC in light heavyweight division and middleweight division.
Yeah, he's sawn up them rankings, he's sawn up them divisions, and he's.
I just think that. I mean, come on, Pereira, mate, and Hill. Pereira's just an unbelievable striker, isn't he? And you've got to think if they stand in front of each other, Hill's got a puncher's chance. He's super powerful. He could catch you, Pereira, like Izzy did, like you've just said. Yeah. But I just think it's Pereira's definitely to lose. I'd say. Yeah,
and I'm going Alex Pereira to continue his run as well.
And on top of that, I want to see him win, maybe defend one more time, and I want to see him move up to heavyweight. Because I tell you what, you can take my money to see Pereira and any of them top boys in heavyweight division, especially our man Tom Aspinall.
He definitely had to heavyweight division, wouldn't he?
Oh, he won.
I mean, and if he can put the beef on as well, man,
mate, he's 6'4" and he's a big old boy, isn't
he? Yeah, but he's skinny built.
And just quickly, I listened to a podcast not so long ago, and he was saying, I think Ariel Owana, he were on this podcast, and he was saying he's super interested in heavyweight division.
Is he?
He's moving up 100%. There's no doubt about it. So
I think he'll definitely.
It's not like he's 100% moving up to heavyweight.
Is he?
Yeah.
He wants to be first freeweight champion, doesn't
he? If he defeats Hill, and with his age as well, being 36, he ain't got a lot of time if he wants to move up to heavyweight.
They'll fucking give him what he wants, mate, like they have done so far in his career. They'll keep giving him what he wants because he's a popular guy.
I'll be very, very honest.
Working.
But I'll be very honest with you. I think the only way you can do that if John Jones is retired and Tom Aspinall is not interested, because I think these two will fucking have their ways with him in any way they want. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe in any.
Even if you look at Pereira against somebody like Cyril Gane,
that
then
would
it's
be
a great fight.
Yeah.
Both stand-up guys.
Yeah.
Cyril Gane, I know he gets slagged a bit.
He's a
One
good
is
fighter.
French. He's a bit of a coward bastard, isn't he?
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's gone missing for the last 2 years.
Yeah, where you got beat
and
against
he let
John
John Jones rag him, which were disappointing.
Yeah.
But on his feet, he's super. He's an elite striker on his feet. So
It will be a good fight, 100%.
No,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
That's more piece.
I'm off
yeah.
for Pereira in this.
I'm going Pereira. You're going with Jamal
I'm
Hill.
going Jamal Hill, yeah.
Why not? Why not? But, you know, we don't know who is going to win it. We don't know who's going to win any of them fights. But what we do know is it's going to be one hell of a night from 1 a.m. in this country till 6 a.m. in this country. We'll be getting up, we'll be watching it, we'll be glued to our screens. Every single fight, all the way through. And I'm sure millions of other people will, because for me, a couple of people have moaned, but for me, down at UFC, have managed to put together an incredible night of fights.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't see how it can fail. I don't see how it can fail at all. I think it's going to be great. And I, for one, cannot wait to watch it. And I hope you cannot wait to watch it as well. I hope you cannot wait to tune in to listen to this and to listen to our further podcast. Please like and subscribe to all over socials. We've got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, everything. Anywhere you are.
Apple Podcasts.
We're all over, and we appreciate all support you give us, guys. We are growing. We appreciate all the feedback we've got from recent interviews we've been doing. We are lining up some more to bring them to you because they've been pretty successful. We're glad that you're liking that sort of stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
We're going to keep trying to add strings to our bow and keep trying to
We've got Bo Nickal on next week, actually.
add strings to our Bo Nickal. We're going to keep trying to do that, bring you more content, and we're going to try and get a bit of content to you from the fight nights and stuff that goes in between. We'll bring you more content from other organisations like Octagon that we've been talking to and things like that, and we're going to look into PFL and everything and Bellator and all that, and just keep bringing you content, guys, and you'll keep liking and subscribing and giving it back. We appreciate everything you do for us. So yeah, enjoy UFC 300. We know we will, and we will see you on the other side of it. Thank you very much, and good night from me.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers for your support, guys.
Thank you. See ya.
The No Bones Podcast.